You are now listening to Feeding Off Each Other.
Welcome back to Feeding Off Each Other, the weekly podcast where we feed off the talent, humor, knowledge, and awesome stories of our guests. Come on, loop it, DJ J.
I did loop it. I didn't know if you wanted it looped.
Yeah, keep it going. Awesome stories of our guests and each other. I'm Matt Dennison, joined as always by David, the alien Wiggins, and Jason, the alienator, Lucas.
A little remix there. I'm just
This guy's
I'm live
good,
mixing.
man. You're the next best thing since Avicii.
Ooh, R.I.P.
Number 88. We've made it to 88, fellas. 12 away from 100. Now, 88 is that, I think in Chinese culture, 88 that would mean die, die. So this might be unlucky.
I thought it was lucky.
Was it 4? Is it 4 that means die? Is it 8?
I thought it was 8.
Google quickly.
Is 8 lucky?
I'm pretty sure 888 is like the equivalent of 666 in Chinese culture.
I don't think they like 4.
Was it 4?
There's no apartment or no like rooms on floor number 4, maybe.
Okay.
8 is the luckiest number in Chinese culture.
Okay, well then we're golden, everybody. It's the exact opposite. This is gonna be the best podcast yet.
No pressure though.
4 means die. Is that correct?
Yeah.
It says that
4,
14, and
24 associated with death for Cantonese-speaking Chinese people.
But 34, you're singing at that point.
Good. Well, we made it quite far, guys, and I'm excited for today's guest because I feel like we're going to get into some extraterrestrial topics today. Maybe a little bit of biking stuff, but I'm most excited for the UFO talk, perhaps. Also, our guest today did request 2 things. One, could our podcast be longer than normal? Could it be? So I heard. Could it be longer than the hour and 15 we usually hit? And the second request was, can I take my shoes off? Which is also a very controversial topic on the pod.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Fuck. I touched my shoes already.
I just want to be more comfortable, and I'm more comfortable with my shoes off. My feet are.
Then rip
rip
them off, man.
Well, I put them back on because I was lifting my foot up.
No. Take them off.
No.
I wasn't sure how professional you guys
Let
are,
those
but it's
babies
very
breathe.
clear that I could just start stripping clothing off here.
Yeah,
Take them shits off.
I'm actually surprised you weren't in flip-flops.
Well, don't kick them at me. Come on.
It's fucking cold in Squamish. Otherwise, I would be. I'm hot right now. I'm gonna be sweaty by the time we're done.
Yeah, probably.
Now, we have got ripped on in the past because the shoes on and off and the inside, like, it's an American thing versus Canadian thing.
Yeah.
What is it?
No, it's a normal person versus psycho person thing. Who wants to wear their shoes? Like, I go to the dog park in my shoes, and then I walk inside on my carpet in my bedroom with my shoes on with dog feces on my shoes. No, there's no.
Yeah. You're right. You're correct.
Yeah. Okay.
And then the last
Americans get it wrong.
Last podcast, someone called into the podcast and pointed out that Jason's always touching his shoes. Kind of a nervous.
I
He
believe
has
that's-
I think he might have a foot thing.
Yeah, I do. You know that.
I do know that. When he was my boss at Pinkbike, he would always ask for feet photos.
It's definitely not your boss.
What the heck? All right, well, we got to get into some stuff. Let's introduce our guest today.
Yes. Today's guest is going to hate me for saying this, but they are a true legend within the mountain bike industry. It is undeniable that this person's influence and opinions have shaped the way a lot of mountain bikers think about the sport,
For worse.
the products they buy, and how they set up their bikes. From being one of the first employees at Pinkbike to reviewing hundreds of bikes, traveling the world to different trade shows, and even popularizing downcountry, our guest today has so many stories, and I can't wait to get into them. I know the Chuthers are excited for this one, so please give a warm welcome to Mike Levy.
Yay! Ooh,
I like it.
So get this out of the way. We know each other. Jason, obviously, you guys are well acquainted.
We spent a lot of time.
First time meeting Dave.
Hi, Dave.
So Dave's not a mountain biker.
No.
Just
Nice.
wanted to get that out of the way. Okay,
Congrats.
so let's not go too deep, not too
Right.
inside baseball. Okay, Dave,
I'll start yelling boo if it gets too
Please.
inside.
Please do, please. And Dave was trying to do some research this morning, and as he put it, he was trying to find out what's your deal. So let's just kick things off with, what is your deal?
I don't know. I think I don't specifically have a deal right now. I don't think.
You're unemployed.
I am unemployed. There's no deal. Yeah.
No.
What? Like, what were you specifically looking for?
I don't know. That sounds a bit confrontational. Like, man, what's your fucking deal?
I
I
don't know where
don't
to
believe
go.
that's how I worded it.
Well, I could actually pull it up.
Did I say that in the Slack?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
How did your research go? What did you find?
I mostly just asked Jason.
Oh, good. Yeah.
And Jason said you were, you know, like an influential media person.
Yeah.
And I said, do people know him? And he's like, oh yeah, a lot of people know him.
12-year-old mountain bike boys. That's it.
And older.
No,
And older.
way.
Older boys too.
The older boys, yeah.
I'm always just trying to put things as an outsider to mountain biking into a context of like, who is this person? Like I follow hockey really closely. So I'm like, okay, is he like a James Duthie or like, you know, like what's the...
Never heard of him, so maybe.
Exactly. What's the analog? But yeah, it sounds like you're hot shit, I believe.
Definitely
And
not.
very elusive. Am I, you know, it's like,
I like that though.
where did Mike Levy go? Where is he? And then you announced recently that you're stepping away from Pinkbike.
Yeah.
You are allowed to look at me. I know there was a note not to look at me. You can look at me, man.
Not to look at you. He literally said, Matt is a creative genius. Don't look at him in the eyes.
Yeah.
I think he said Matt's a gorilla.
Yeah. He takes it as a sign of aggression.
Wrong.
Yeah, you announced that you were stepping away from Pinkbike, and
Yeah.
there was like 9,000 comments that were like, it was as if you had died.
Yeah. I've been there for a long time.
Yeah.
So people got really used to me and the stupid things I say. So I think when I'm not there anymore, people are like, who's going to say stupid things now? But there's
Right.
other people that have stepped in.
We just put out a video. Kids react to bike parts, and we introduce non-riding kids to the different bikes, parts of a bike, and how much they cost. And they all
Do they know what the parts are?
No, they didn't know at all.
Oh, great.
And it was a lot of fun. And they, you know, had them guess the names, like give names for things. They were calling like a cassette, a spokey pyramid, and a rotor, a flinger, and this kind of thing. And one of the comments today was, this replaces, what did it say? This replaces what Mike Levy used to have to say about products.
Like these
or
kids
whatever.
see it in the same way or whatever.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm
Like trying
totally
to come up
butchering the
with-
comment, but
Trying to come up with new ways to say things.
I think they were just making a comparison to you have a childish take on mountain biking. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't always like that. Like when we started, it was scary, obviously, to like be on camera and go to these things. But after a while, you just start caring less and less and less. And then it like you get to be yourself more and say stupid things. And yeah.
Right. So where did it all start? Because I don't even really, I'm not that familiar. This is a long time ago that we're going to go back in the time machine now.
Let's go back to before me. So Pinkbike started in Calgary. Radek Burkhat was the founder. And it started as, I think, a place to like, it wasn't even a website. It was like a forum to get together to organize rides and stuff.
Right.
And people would send him photos and he would have to put the photos online. You couldn't even put the photos online yourself. So he would have to upload them. And eventually it grew and grew and grew. Obviously he built a much better website and hired some people and like things like that. And I think the thing that really got PB started, it was the photos. People uploaded like, how many photos are on there, Jason? Like 7 billion?
No, it's like I thought it was like 200 million. It's like 20 million, maybe 20 million photos.
We're just throwing out numbers.
Yeah.
1 trillion photos.
Yeah.
So it started off as that. And like, so we already had this huge place where people came to put stuff. And if you compare a website, it kind of makes it unfair. Like, cause Pinkbike already was this place. We weren't doing like a ton of news. There were employees doing stuff, but there wasn't a ton of stuff happening and it wasn't like super professional. But we had a huge user base specifically because people were uploading all their photos. So we sort of had an audience to start with, you know, obviously through Radek's hard work and other people's hard work. And then we started trying to make it a thing.
And you were employee 3?
3 or 4. So Tyler Main was the very first employee and Radek hired him in Calgary. And I know I've said this in other podcasts before, but Tyler Main is the reason the Pinkbike exists. Aside from Radek.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thanks, Radek. And some other people too. But like Tyler really kept the thing afloat for many, many years, doing like insane hours, crazy stuff, having no life. And then eventually Radek hired his brother, or his brother came in, Carl. And I think Carl has like a pretty business-minded take on things. Like we were just like a bunch of dumbasses doing stuff, you know, not even really working. And things just started to get more professional and more professional. And Jordan Holmes was there too. He left shortly after I came aboard, but he was like, we hired him as a photography and a video guy. And I mean, that was a big deal to us to have like someone who did that specifically for us. It was crazy. Yeah.
I want to get this comment right. Someone said, these children remind me of the insight Levy used to provide us. And someone said, spot on. It's got a whole bunch of thumbs up on it. That was the comment.
Yeah.
I like that. I honestly, I think like it's easy to take the bike stuff seriously, and you have to take some of it seriously. But like, honestly, it's just fucking bikes. Like,
Yeah.
I don't really care. You know, like I don't really. Yeah.
I mean, that was kind of our like inspiration turning this into our career. It was like, all right, people are taking this a little too seriously. Let's start to take the piss out of it.
Yeah.
I guess you kind of made a living taking the piss out of things too.
Yeah, and I think the thing for me was I really wanted to, like, I don't want to read a bike review. You know what's fucking boring? A bike review. Like, I don't care, you know? And if I feel that way, and I love bikes, if I feel that way, tons of other people feel that way too. So I always wanted to write something that, even if you weren't like Dave hates bikes.
Hate them.
He before we started recording, he was just going off about like rage on bikes, and it's like
You wouldn't even shake your hand.
no, he actually spit
He's
on
like,
me.
Yeah, I did. That's how I start with most guests.
Yeah.
Most guests, though.
But if Dave reads my bike review or
can't
part of my bike review, that's a win. You know, if you like some of it or whatever, like to me, so that's the mindset that you have, or that I would try to take to go into things. So, but it's a hard balance too, because like you have people that want to talk about freaking leverage ratios and anti-squat and those things and, you know, sciencey engineer stuff. And so you have to like balance those things and explain things in both ways, you know?
Yeah.
Because if you go too easy or if you go too soft, then people don't take you seriously. Not that people ever took me seriously.
I think some people take you seriously. I appreciated, we went to a bunch of mountain bike trade shows together, and we would be tasked with filming videos that cover the latest and greatest product.
Yeah.
And a lot of those times, those products were like, well, there's new colors, or it weighs 3 grams less.
Dude.
And I appreciate your take on always trying to like incorporate a funny sketch into the video or write some funny dialogue, because otherwise those pieces are so dry.
That's
right?
the thing too. Like people don't want to know. People do want to know, but like people don't want the information delivered to them. Like the internal width is 24.5 millimeters, you know, and this and that. And like people, that's not how you deliver the information. That's a super boring way. Like people want to listen to their buddy, you know, like you want to have a chill conversation with your buddies about hockey, and like you have your little inside jokes, and it's exactly the same on Pinkbike. I've been there forever, and like tons of silly inside jokes, and you put them in your writing and you put them in your podcast, and it builds a community. And yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Now, I was talking about writing a review about the Maven brakes that I'm currently running.
Is this a sponsored podcast?
This is not.
No.
But I
By
feel
SRAM TM.
I feel incapable to write anything about any bike part. Like I've always said for years, like, I don't know, it just rolls. I don't know, the brakes stop. Like I think the brakes are great, they stop, but unless I could go back and forth like immediately, like, okay, jump to this bike, okay, now jump to the other one. I don't know. I just the old thing that I was writing, it's washed out of my brain. I can't remember. And I'm impressed that people can even write that many words about a thing.
Dude, Casimir would say that same thing to me with a very different tone some days.
Yes, for sure.
When you're doing it for long enough, well, first of all, you know what people are looking for. You know, if it's a whatever bike, and so these people they want to hear about this 180 mil bike, they don't really give a fuck compared to like the XC people who want to hear very different things about a different bike, right? So like you figure out what they want to know and what they want to hear, and once you've ridden a zillion bikes, it's not really hard. Like you just start carpal
tunnel,
carpal tunnelizing,
carpooling.
How many articles have you written?
Compartmentalizing.
I'm not good at wording, to be honest with you guys.
There's always an editor.
Yeah, there is though. There is always an editor, and that's the other thing too. Like you would write these things, and you'd write, I'd write 1,000 words too many, and then I would go through and like, if I had the time, you would go through, and it's just like with writing, like you want the stuff that you've written to be really good, and like you have some pride in it, like, and you try really hard, So you can't just like go back. It's like you can't go back and look at stuff you wrote 2 years ago, because that is bad, because it's shit. It's probably shit, even if it's not. Yeah, it's not an easy thing, writing.
Yeah,
even about bikes.
It's so hard. The first, like my whole entrance into the bike world was writing a review for an S&B for tires. And
that's tough.
We talked about this in the past. Jason was beside me by the computer helping me figure out what the heck to write. I'm like, I don't know. They're just tires.
It wasn't just tires. It was dirt jump tires.
Dirt jump tires. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, in a situation like that, you probably wouldn't, like it would be a review. It'd be titled as a review, but like a lot of the content would be jokes and fucking around. Like
I don't think we wrote any jokes.
No,
I think the most exciting part was just taking photos.
Yeah. I mean, dirt jump tires, you pump them up hard, case some jumps, bend some rims, go home. Who cares?
Yeah, I mean, I feel like whenever someone has something to say about tires, it's because they crashed on them and then they just have this personal vengeance against the tires,
So that's the other thing. Like, there's stuff like tires, brakes, for sure, where people are really like, if I don't have these Maxxis tires, like, I will die. I cannot roll down this fucking I can't do it. Do that. And most of these people saying this, if I took off their $120 whatevers and I put on $50 something or others, a lot of times, they're not going to notice. There's places where you do. And that's not to say that riders don't notice, because there's obviously there's huge differences in compounds and casings, especially, and like all that stuff. But on the other hand, pretty subjective.
I mean, SRAM's never going to give me another set of brakes ever, but like Jason asked me, so how are the brakes? I'm like, good. Yeah, they're stopping me.
I could talk for a long time about brakes.
I don't even know where to start. I don't know. They look great. They're red.
Can a brake have too much power?
I mean, possibly. Can't you adjust it so you can feather it or something? I don't know. Dave's about to boo us.
Yeah.
Boo.
Do you pay attention to mountain bike stuff at all anymore?
Oh yeah.
Okay. So you know what the Mavens are?
Yeah.
They've caused quite a stir online because a YouTuber, Dale Stone?
Yeah, Dale Stone.
He posted a review.
He's bumbling on them?
Yeah.
There you go.
We'd edit that up.
Yeah, no, it's in it. We're going to
double it, yeah.
We'll bumble it. Yeah, he posted a review video and said he was impressed by the power, but they were too hard to pull, and they were giving him arm pump, and he had to stop multiple times going down the trail because he got such bad arm pump compared to other brakes.
I mean, I would have questions.
Yeah, as a lot of people did.
So there's no way, like, we could all have our preferences. You love those Maven brakes. Like, before we went on, you were just going off about the
Made by SRAM.
Yeah,
SRAM.
Yeah. Jason loves his Shimano brakes or whatever.
Whoa, hey,
whoa, hold on.
Like I don't know, they all work really good, but like they're not going to put out a product for the most part that like really does suck. By the time it gets to us, they're almost always good, but they're just a lot of times different, and stuff breaks and things don't work right, and there's a poor bleed, or like maybe his lever blades were too far away from the handlebar.
Totally.
Like, yeah, I don't know what's going on, and that's the danger. Like, I love how YouTube democratizes, like, people can just go do reviews, because that's all I was doing.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was literally just a YouTuber. Like, you were making YouTube videos of me,
Mm-hmm.
So on one hand, I love the fact that there's all this information out there, but on the other hand, a lot of it is kind of crap. Like with car stuff, like I know I've said this a zillion times, but F1, like, I'll watch all these different F1 videos, and like 3/4 of them are just like, Jesus Christ, like, this idiot, I can't do it. Like, he doesn't know what he's talking about, And there is that sometimes, not specifically, like, that guy probably had an issue with his brakes. If he had an issue, he had an issue.
Mm-hmm.
He's not making it up, but there's all sorts of answers.
Now we're seeing like new websites pop up that dedicated to reviewing bike products. Do you think there's a future there? Or is this like
What new websites?
Well, I don't want to name any names or say any websites, but we're seeing there is some new.
I'm dead serious. What new websites? I don't go online.
You don't go online.
No, I definitely do.
Yeah, I was going to say bullshit.
Do I think that
Got an Apple Watch on? I'm just kidding.
Do I think that there's room for?
Yeah, for like.
Yeah, of course.
So okay.
Yeah, I mean, like, Pinkbike's been doing it. Why can't somebody else do it? And Pinkbike is going to disappear at some point. Like, before Pinkbike, there was a different sort of thing. And like, I remember, viewer wise, there was a time when like NSMB wasn't that far off Pinkbike. And then like, there was a different path, we took a different path, and that's fine. And like, at some point, something will come along where like, people going somewhere else for their reviews because they're using a different medium, or maybe that place has different people that people like. And I don't know.
Well, all the power to them. I won't be starting my review website anytime soon.
Maybe I will.
Howdily dood each other, nation. You love the show, you love the pod, you love the boys. Well, why don't you support us by purchasing some of our merch on mahalomydude.com.
That's right, Matthew. We've got the finest selection of t-shirts, stickers, and hats you've ever seen. Plus, we even have feeding off each other sticker packs so that you can proudly show off your love for the show on a mug, laptop, your dog, your mom, whatever.
And as a special gift to you, our beloved Chuthers, we're offering 10% off your next order with the code FEEDING. That's right. Head to mahalomydude.com and use code FEEDING for 10% off your next order.
And now
Back to the pod.
So what was your biggest accomplishment at Pinkbike? And was it working with Jason?
No.
I think that we made some awesome videos. I think one of the biggest accomplishments was the fact that the majority of the time it didn't feel like work, you know, with Jason, but with other people too. And I think that's like, to be able to say that, like, people don't get to live like that, you know, ever. Like all these people outside your studio, like they're working their shit day jobs. Like she doesn't want to work in the man.
Yeah, we're gonna have to bleep that. That's too. Yeah, you doxed us there. But, yeah, I think it's a fine establishment.
Sponsored by.
You come, bleep that too. I think you come out of that place smelling different every day. So that's.
But I think that in itself is like, that should be everybody's goal, to like do the thing that you don't hate for as long as possible.
Yeah.
It really isn't rocket science.
Sure, but also they say don't turn your hobby into your work, because then you're going to eventually hate your hobby.
You're going to burn out and quit after freaking.
Exactly. And I think we've all felt that a little bit, where we're like working on the film and we're like, I'm going to kill myself. This is terrible. I like, 7 social cuts later, you're like, this is the worst.
Exactly.
I wouldn't have done this if it was my hobby. I would just be making the main thing, right?
Exactly. And I think the other thing you have to remember is that everything changes, like what you guys are doing now, it's not what you were doing 10 years ago or whatever you were doing. And I mean, you guys are making great stuff years and years ago, but now you're making great stuff, but you also have to do all those social cuts and all that stuff. And maybe in a year, you'll find an easier way to do the things you want to do. Maybe you'll get burnt out and quit.
ChatGPT will do it all for us.
I don't think that's ever going to happen. People fucking AI bullshit.
When you were talking earlier about having to cut 1,000 words out of your review, I was thinking, ChatGPT can simplify that for you.
Yeah, Kaz wished he had that for many years.
Oh, yeah, I bet.
I would take like Adderall drugs and hand in like 10,000 word reviews on like a multi-tool cast.
Oh my God.
Like, fuck.
What?
I remember going to some trade shows and like we would film the video and you would go see all the parts, whenever, spend like 5 hours at the trade show, go home, go our separate ways. You would write the article, I would make the video.
Yeah.
And like half an hour later, like, article's done. Where's the video? And I was like, I've put the footage onto my hard drive. Like, how the fuck did you write so quick?
I find that I'm either on or off. And when I'm on, I think this describes me in almost every possible way, is like when it's like 110%. Or I'm off and I don't give a single shit about it, But like in that sort of situation, I mean, I miss trade shows. I know lots.
What?
I miss them. They were so much fun, dude. Traveling places and like you have that competitive element, like try to get stuff up. Like I want to get 3 articles and we want to get a video. Otherwise, I'm a piece of shit.
That gives me anxiety just hearing that.
I think I met you at Interbike years ago. Probably. Yeah. Clinging drinks in a lobby somewhere, probably before a movie premiere or something like that.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But any standout memories? This is one of the questions we should have thought of beforehand. But any standout memories with Jason on the road? Didn't you guys go to China together?
Taiwan.
Taiwan?
Yeah, we did Taiwan. That was really fun. Obviously.
Did you tie one on?
No.
Well, on the go-kart track.
Yeah, that was fun.
That was probably that's probably my highlight.
Yeah, no, we try to do go-karts wherever we go. I think I went to Texas with him too. That was actually awesome. I would love to go back to Texas.
Now wait, are you one of Jason's secret go-karting friends? Because he's got like a secret go-karting life that he doesn't tell us or invite us to or anything.
Sometimes. He comes with us sometimes. Yeah. We go to TBC in Richmond fairly often.
I see.
Yeah.
You guys like part of a club or?
No, I'm never the one who books it. So like with TBC, you have to tell them how many people are coming, and you can't just like all show up. It's like pre-booked. So
you'll just leave and you'll be like, all right, I gotta go, and you won't be just like, I got go-karting. I'm going go-karting. We'll have to pull it out of you to be like, what do you got going on tonight?
You guys could come. I will.
No, it's too late. Okay. Too late. No, we're ending.
His feelings are way too hurt at this point.
Only if it's a double kind of cart and me and Dave can be beside each other.
And
just,
I'll throw the green turtle shells.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. All right.
What are the go-karts like in Taiwan? Are they like super powered?
I mean,
scary as fuck.
Oh, really?
There's really fast ones. I think it's like they got really fast ones. The track that we went to was an FIA approved go-kart track. That's the place.
Yeah.
What is
I've
that?
been there a bunch of times.
FIA?
It's like the federation thing. So it has to like meet all these safety standards and like be a certain width, have a like type of curbing and pits, and like I don't actually
Is
know.
TBC like this?
No, definitely not.
Oh, really?
No. FIA is like where like a World Series type thing would come there. So people come from all over the place to race there.
It's like a World Cup downhill track. Like imagine it's like certified to be a course.
And I'm sure there's different. I don't know anything. People are watching this right now, being like, "He's an idiot." But like,
Well, you know more about me.
yeah,
Than me.
I thought it was absolutely amazing. I've been to a bunch of go-kart tracks. That's probably one of my favorite.
It was the only place I've been where I was like, I can't go fast enough for the track. Like the cart's going too quick at this point.
Oh, yeah.
And if I hit a curb, I will literally flip the cart and go 80K into like a grass barrier.
Yeah.
It was
Awesome.
It was
awesome.
And I remember you set the course record that day
No way.
In a rental car.
in a rental cart.
Yeah. But that was the time for the rental carts. Like there are way faster people in rental carts there.
I was still so impressed.
Yeah.
Well, how much do you weigh? If you don't mind me asking.
That's a personal question. Like 150?
Okay, because I weigh 152, and I'm never anywhere close whoever came in first place, and I've always heard that it's weight. It's like a weight thing. You're gonna be heavier
For sure. I mean,
because it keeps you on the ground. You don't
No.
skid. No,
no, I think the lighter you are, the better it is.
really.
Yeah, because they will ballast you up if you go to races. I think when they're young, possibly. I think when they're young, like to even out the classes, they ballast the carts so everybody weighs the same. But if you're lighter, you go faster.
That's what I thought too. And then I don't know.
That's-
Someone told me, oh no, the heavier, bigger guys, they stay on the ground, so they don't like. I don't know what it's called, but when you kind of
The center of
lose
gravity.
traction and you
Yeah.
around the corner
What do they do?
when they skirt.
Yeah. No, you were just looking for a reason why you suck. Sorry.
Yeah, no, really. Wait, well, so then what's one tip I can think about next time? Because I haven't been for a while, but next time I go, I'm gonna try to. Is it? Yeah, lean into.
No, don't do anything.
You don't do anything because
No,
I'm pushing on
try
the
to-
gas as hard as I can.
Yeah.
And I'm
So the trick: turn the steering wheel the least amount you can to go around the track.
okay.
So when you're sliding, you're not going fast. That's losing time, even though it feels fun. So you want, like, if you can go around the track and just barely turn the steering wheel and do it with your feet, you're going to be quite a bit faster.
That's a good tip.
Steer with your feet.
And are you using the brake at all?
To turn?
Yeah.
It depends on the track.
Oh, okay.
Some of like TBC, you only have to use the brake like one
Once,
corner
yeah.
maybe. But that track in Taiwan, in Taichung, I mean, you have to like brake in a straight line in like a ton of places.
Yeah. You're going
Yeah.
too fast. It's a turn.
Yeah.
That's a good tip. Well, we gotta go.
We should go to go-karts after this.
I gotta get my ass kicked.
Yeah, exactly.
Let me put on a few pounds first. Well, speaking of fun vehicles, you have a pretty iconic vehicle that you drive. Do you still own that vehicle? Wasn't it your
The Mini.
One.
Yeah.
No, the Mini's long gone. It's gone.
Oh, was it?
Yeah.
Oh.
I'm alive. That's good.
That was you let me drive that once, and that was the gnarliest car I've ever driven
Yeah.
around your neighborhood. And I didn't go above 30K.
Yeah.
It was terrifying.
I think it's at the beginning of Grim Donut, isn't it?
Yeah, it's at the
Yeah.
beginning of
If
Grim
you want to
Donut.
find that, Brooke.
Yeah, that car was a lot of fun, but it ended up, I did the stupid boy thing. It's the thing that boys do. I'm doing it right now. Yeah, there it is right there. That's a good photo. Fuck, I took that photo even.
Your
guys
water
put
bottle.
great-
Your water bottle matches your car.
Put that in the video. That wasn't by accident. That was a fun car, but it got to the point where it was just too scary to drive. It had no insulation. It had a roll cage, which it shouldn't have had on the street, obviously. Straight pipe, side exhaust, and front wheel drive, and too much power. It weighed 1,500 pounds, 1,600 pounds once it was all stripped out. 200, low 200 wheel horsepower.
It had a crazy amount of torque steer, so when
Yeah.
you press the gas, the steering wheel literally ripped to the right.
Whoa.
Well, you got to be ready for it. See,
Yeah, but
that's the thing. Like that's what gave it the character. Once you learn how to drive that car quickly, or learn how to drive it well, then you enjoyed it more. You learned how to do the things when you were, needed to do the things, and you had to rev match every single shift. It was otherwise you're just like, bang! It was terrible.
What made it, or why'd you have to drive it? You just driving it for fun? Or you have to do it for a video?
No, he just offered.
Oh,
me.
okay.
I was like, well, I'm not going to say no.
I see.
I was
Yeah.
like, you can have this back.
It had a Kirky aluminum drag car seat in it, and it was amazing. And you could see the road through holes in the floor pan, and
Oh my gosh.
it was amazing. Yeah, I'm glad I don't have it anymore though.
It's a death trap.
Yeah, it was a death trap. Yeah.
So what else did you guys work on together? Grim Donut
Grim
was
Donut was
that was a big
big.
thing. That was
Yeah, it was big.
Whose idea was that? Was it Mike or
Not mine.
Ryan?
What is Grim Donut?
It's a silly bike we made. And so every year, it's kind of changed now, but if we go back a few years, every year bikes were getting a little slacker and a little longer. And it was like we could, like the press releases were always the same. So it's the same shit. So we just skipped a whole bunch of years and made a bike that was way too slack and too low and too long. I think it was Brian Park's idea.
The slack meaning the front end, the fork is leaning forward.
Like a chopper. So it steers like absolute shit when you're not going quickly.
Right.
Or pointing down a thing.
But it
Wasn't
goes
useful.
over bumps easier because of that? Is that
I don't know. I'm not that convinced.
Okay.
No, it made it, when your front wheel is that far in front of you, it doesn't feel like you're going to flip over the handlebars. So you just have way more confidence.
Right.
But to make it work, you have to be like, I can't ride that bike quickly.
The Grim Donut?
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
No. For me to make it work, I would have to go 20% faster and like lean over the front wheel. Otherwise it doesn't corner. It's too much bike.
I remember when you guys were working on that, I think Jason was talking to me. He said, yeah, maybe it was you. Someone's going to ride it tomorrow. I'm pretty scared they might actually die.
Yeah.
Because it was so slack, the thing might have just cracked in half.
We went to Taiwan. We spent so long there. We went to like the factory.
Genio.
And we watched it. Yeah, that bike. We watched it being welded, watched it all put together. And Genio, it's a really reputable factory. They make a lot of people's bikes. Like
High-end aluminum
like
stuff.
high-end, like Pivot
stuff.
and those brands. And they said they tested it on their rigs and they said it passed, I believe. But you just look at it and you're like, in person, you're like, oh boy, that looks really scary to ride.
It had 2 down tubes to make the down tube, I think.
Yeah, it had like 2 pipes like welded together to make it long enough.
See, if you just showed me a picture of this, I would just shrug and be like, yeah, it looks like a bike.
You wouldn't be like, oh, that's an ugly looking thing.
It
It looks bent already.
would
Yeah, it
not
looks bad.
register. Nothing would register about
So
this.
you see how the fork, the red thing, it's so like relaxed. It's leaned back.
Yeah.
That's what does it. That's what helps.
Yeah.
Well, it's the idea.
There's 2 red things. I'm sorry, where am I looking?
The front red thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
The back red thing is mostly normal. It didn't work either, but it's mostly normal.
This thing still exists. It's still out there. You didn't turn it into...
No, it's somewhere. I think they must have it hanging up in the office. Like people don't want to ride it.
No.
I think the front end, like...
It will rip eventually.
when it's that far out in front of you, it puts a lot of leverage, right? Like it looks like it wants to tear it apart when it's just sitting still. So if you're landing a drop of any size, I don't know. Johan, that was mind blowing when he rode that thing.
Yeah.
That was actually probably one of the best Pinkbike moments that I could think of. Like that was a genuine. Were you filming that?
No, I skipped that day.
That was a genuine.
Yeah, you guys came back and you were so stupid.
Yeah, that was a genuine response. Like when he came down and the time was faster, that was a genuine, like, because I didn't think he would get down. I gave it a 50-50 chance, and he's just so keen and positive. I was like, oh.
Yeah, so for context, Johan, professional racer, Dave, bike racer, he tested his race bike on a course in Whistler, Pemberton,
Yeah.
and tested the time against his race bike again, or on the Grim Donut, same track, same conditions, everything, and he was faster on the Grim Donut
Wow.
by like a good amount.
Like going
By
as hard
many
as he
seconds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I don't think his sponsor was that stoked.
No, they were not. The current sponsor was not stoked, and I remember we had to like, did we minimize it or something?
We
Or-
like definitely like,
we just
'cause he
breezed over it, kind of.
yeah,
We didn't change anything.
Yeah, we didn't change anything, but I think we took out some of the like excitement that he had for the bike or whatever, just to like, because it was quite a bit faster.
It was quite a bit faster.
Yeah,
for
I don't
sure.
think Johan was expecting that.
No.
Yeah.
No, that was cool. That was like genuine moments like that, I think, are what the bike industry needs more of, and less of the dry percentages and millimeters. And
That's
all
the
that.
thing. It can be both ways.
Yeah.
We can have both things. Like it could be interesting and like all
Educational.
the information.
Totally.
Yeah.
Now, your time at Pinkbike, is this true that you guys were sending shit pics to each other? Because I heard rumor.
I don't know if it was to each other.
It wasn't to each other? You weren't feeding off each other? Because the
When
topic
did you
came
guys
up.
start feeding each other?
The topic came up. Jason was like, oh, you guys remember ratemypoo.com?
What?
Which Dave had never heard of.
I had never heard of it, but I get the concept.
Yeah, I don't know how deep you want to go, but we definitely received.
I like how it always comes. It's not me. It's not specifically me.
What do you mean specifically?
Like there's definitely other people. But yeah, no, some poo pictures get sent. Not for a while. It's been like a week or two.
I don't have the I don't have the confidence to be sending pictures of my duty
What?
to my
It's
friends.
not about confidence. There's no good poo or bad poo. It's
Yeah.
all just poo. Like, it's not a good or a bad thing. No one's judging it.
I mean, I would argue there's good poos versus bad poos. You know?
What
There's a
makes-
healthy poo versus a non-healthy poo.
Is a good poo like a huge one or a small one?
Or is it
'cause I think we would
consistency?
differ there.
Consistency, shape, maybe color.
Yeah.
Sound.
Smell.
See, I think about them as bikes. They're all interesting. They're all interesting in their
Sure.
own interesting ways. You know, they all have their stories.
And you want to share them with your friends and
Sometimes-
coworkers.
No, that's a guy thing. That's a guy
is
thing.
that's maximum
I've been
guy
on
thing.
some bike shoots where they were filming high-speed shots of them shitting in the woods.
Yeah, exactly. This is not just me.
And I couldn't get down with participating, but I would definitely watch. That's
Yeah.
fun.
Poo is funny.
Yeah,
It is funny.
It's. I think when you spend so much time together, like in a work environment, and it's like can be stressful, and like timelines and that sort of thing. It is nice to have the comedic relief of a poo picture now and then.
We all poo. There's nothing weird about it.
We also all have penises, and I feel like when I was 20 in
Where's this
inner
going?
bike, I think I saw a picture of your penis when I was like 20. It came up and it was on multiple people's phones at Interbike, and they said, "Hey, this is Mike Levy's dick." Did were you sending dick pics out to the bike community? Was this actually?
I think I'm on camera. I have to say no.
For legal reasons.
I mean, it's on the
hot
document
in
here. I
here?
had to ask it. I didn't know how to ever segue into that.
I mean, again, I'm not the only one. I don't understand. It's not just me. This is a guy thing.
Yeah, fair enough. Well, let's just
You
say
don't send Jason, like,
we never have, but
never. You guys have known each other since you were kids. Never.
never
I don't
have. Never
believe you.
seen it. I don't even know if he has one.
They
to be
save
never
honest.
seen it?
for in person.
Never seen it. Never touched it.
No.
Never
smelled it.
tasted. Never nothing.
You've never seen it. Have you seen his?
No, I don't think so.
You guys aren't even friends.
Well, hey, episode 100. Everything changes.
Yeah, we can do it during the Centurion.
Well, what about Mike Russell? Good friend of yours. You ever seen his dick?
I don't think so.
No. Has he ever seen yours?
I don't think so. I've only seen the guys I played hockey with, some of their dicks.
I mean, I
And do they know?
No. I was hiding.
Hold up.
You were hiding. There's a hole in the change room wall.
I also spent a lot of time in a bike shop. Like, I spent 10 years in a bike shop with like a bunch of dude employees and like a couple of like good friends of mine, and like stuff happens
Yeah.
with poo and penises.
Yeah. I mean, that was before airdrop, where you could accidentally airdrop something.
Also, it's a different time now.
It's a different time.
Like, that was 15 more. That was more than 15 years ago. You know, like that was 20 years ago. I was at this bike shop, and like, yeah, it was different times.
And that was in Chilliwack too, which is also a more rural area.
What is that? Like all these farmers walking around with their penises?
Yeah,
out?
I
What is
think
it?
so. Yeah.
All right. Well, we got
Pretty rugged.
the dick pics out of the way. We got the shit pics out of the way. Let's go a little deeper into your strange addictions. I don't know about this one, but are you addicted to Monster Energy?
I'd like
Also,
to
not a sponsor. Not a sponsor.
They used to sponsor me in a way.
Yeah, they did.
They used to drop off.
I mean, this is Jason's question here, so maybe he knows a little something.
I would like to say that I'm not addicted because I would like to think that I haven't given them the power, you know? But at the same time, I really like it. Like this morning, I did a ride and then I didn't have time. I cracked a Monster. I took a sip. I didn't have time to finish it. And I was like, I literally said out loud to Sarah, I was like, fuck, I got to go do this podcast. I can't even finish my Monster. And I had to leave. So I had to put it back in the fridge.
You couldn't possibly have driven and drank it.
No, because I go to Tim Hortons and I don't want to mix a tea with a Monster.
Yeah, that'd be crazy.
Well, it's like one's carbonated and fizzy and one has like milk in it. And like,
Was it an orange chai?
yeah, not chai. It's Ultra Sunrise.
No,
Real
the Tim
natural name.
Hortons. Tim Hortons.
Oh, the Timmy's.
Yeah.
That was just steep tea.
Yeah, orange.
Yeah, Orange Pico. Sorry.
Yeah, orange pico.
Yeah.
Yeah, two
Yeah.
bags.
Yeah,
Why is it
no,
called Orange Pico anyways? Is it even orange? What is the flavor
it
of Orange
tastes.
Pico?
It tastes a little bit like orange. I think it doesn't have any caffeine in it though.
Don't they also call it, what is it, like British something, English breakfast? Is that Orange Pico?
I think that's different.
That's a different thing.
Is it?
I mean, it's all like just like bags of things in your water. But yeah.
Now, would you go back and drink that Monster even though it's lost all of its carbonation?
I'm not gonna waste it. They're expensive now. 2 of them is like $9. It's absolutely ridiculous.
My God, really?
Yeah.
They're always advertising 2 energy drinks at any gas station you go. What's the deal with that?
Well, they want to get you, and they got me, and it pisses me off. Like all this stuff is made to get you, you know, like
Yeah.
like the chips that you had or whatever. Like it's all engineered, by like food engineers to get you. And the fact that they've got me, it frustrates me.
We talk about the engineering behind the smell of Red Bull. You crack it open and that smell travels across the room in an instant.
Yeah.
And it's just so unique.
Tastes like medicine. Red Bull.
Yeah.
Sponsor?
I mean, what's Monster Energy smell like then in that case?
Well, have you had an orange sunrise? Ultra sunrise? It
No.
tastes like ultra sunrise.
I kind of actually have a flavor in mind that I'm guessing what that tastes like.
It's like energized creamsicle.
Oh, God.
That's the
that
way I
sounds good.
would describe it.
Jason
It's
looks like he's
delicious.
drinking one right now.
Yeah, it's close. No, that's a bit different.
Sugar-free. Disgusting.
So yours is sugar-free?
Mine's sugar-free too. I treat my body like a temple.
Yeah, exactly. So how many
I don't want
of
the
those-
calories.
How many Ultra Sunrises are you drinking a day?
1 to 2.
Okay.
No.
God.
What percentage of your blood volume is taurine at this point?
I mean, probably higher than it's supposed to be. I would imagine. Yeah.
But at least you're going on bike rides. You're not just sitting on the couch.
Yeah, there seems to be like between the donuts and the Monster and like the bags of candy. Like I think people think that I'm like a walking like I am diabetes, you know. But it's not. I actually eat like super well for the most part. But I also like to have treats, you know.
You have a lot of tattoos in your body too. You're treating your body like a temple.
Yeah.
Curious by the one on your left wrist, which I believe is your username, your kind of like internet moniker.
No.
Killed.
It wasn't. I mean, I just couldn't think up a username on Instagram. This is freaking Motorhead song.
Killed by death. Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
the best Motorhead song.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought there was some deeper.
No, there's nothing deep about it at all. I mean, like death's gonna get you in the end. You're gonna get killed by death. That's it. So you might not worry. That's the idea. Corny, but
All right. Well, so have we covered all the mountain bike topics we need to cover
I feel
today?
like it. Yeah. I don't know.
You got anything you need to get off your chest that the mountain bike community needs to hear?
not really.
No.
I miss you guys.
Do you miss anything about Pinkbike?
Of course.
And what is it? Well, okay. That's
You just
quick.
left.
No,
Why come back?
No, I mean, we had amazing times, and like also
Yes.
like the team is like pretty fucking awesome. Like those people that we work with,
Everyone cares.
everyone cares a lot. Like they
A
want to
lot.
make good stuff.
You don't need to pander. They're not listening. It's fine.
They're not going to listen.
Brian's listening.
He's always listening though.
Can you get Carl on the podcast? Great guy, Carl.
Yeah, I could get Carl, baby.
Get him on the podcast.
I've
Jason
tried.
doesn't think he'll ever.
No, I've tried.
I don't think Carl
elusive.
wants. Yeah, I don't think.
Oh, come on.
I don't think those guys want to.
I don't think they want that sort of attention or that spotlight anymore, at least.
No,
I don't know.
that's not their jam. Like they're behind the scenes guys.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Plus, Carl's probably like retired in like Bermuda and
Yeah.
just like on a
Oh,
beach.
must be nice.
What's the deal with like if it's hot as shit in here and I gotta take my hoodie off? Do you guys like pause this thing?
No, just let it rip.
I,
Just let it rip.
I gotta-
hope the T-shirt comes up with it.
Hold on. I'll play some.
It's not gonna come up.
Anyway, everything changed once I asked about the dick pic. He started doing this, fanning his chest,
It's hot.
beads of sweat
Guys, and your tough questions.
coming from his forehead.
Okay, there we go. That's enough of that.
Well, we definitely got the copyright strike on that one.
Break it.
No, you just gotta flip it around.
All right, last thing in the mountain bike. Like, is your like, wherever you can be contacted, are people asking you to come back? We miss you. There's a lot of love out there for you.
I think some people would probably like me to come back and do stuff, but I mean, like, there's lots of other people doing lots of good stuff. I'm just tired of writing about bikes for the most part, you know? It's.
Wait, you're wearing a Pinkbike shirt?
Well,
That's all he has.
it literally is all I have. I don't have any other clothing. Like, I have 4 Pinkbike t-shirts and like a couple t-shirts I got from a thrift store in Arizona. And I finally got these new jeans because the other ones had a big hole in the crotch. And so I had to wear underwear. And now that I have these, I don't have to wear underwear anymore.
I almost forgot because we're on the wrong side, but the gold tooth.
Yeah.
This has probably been covered in the past.
Yeah.
This is a choice.
Yeah.
I just went to the dentist. I have to revisit again. Should I get a gold tooth?
I think you should.
Does it?
And
what
where
does
would
do
you
for
get it? In
Huh?
the front?
Yeah.
You should. I think you definitely should. Or get a silver one.
What does it do for you? Good
Absolute-
things? Bad things?
Absolutely nothing,
Oh.
unfortunately.
You don't think it doesn't get you any like street cred?
Street cred.
I don't know. Like,
You know, one time actually, I was coming through the border. My girlfriend and I were driving back into Canada. No, we were going down to the States. And I had my hand up on the steering wheel and I have the number 13 tattooed on my hand. And the guy made us park and whatever, and he talked to us for a little bit. And he actually did say, he said the reason that he made us park is because of the 13 on my hand made me look like a gang member. It's like, you know me, I'm definitely not a gang member.
No, you're scared of gang members.
Yeah, I'm 100% scared of gang members. Yeah, there's no gang.
He's like, that's the scariest number. I had to pull you over.
Yeah, exactly.
Cantonese is death. It means
I
death,
think,
man.
no, it's MS-13, I think.
MS-13, yeah.
Yeah.
Are they in Mission?
I think they're
They're
everywhere.
everywhere.
Wait, what does MS stand for?
Multiple
sclerosis.
sclerosis.
They're,
Multiple sclerosis.
I think I have
fundraising
it.
for MS.
It's just a big fundraiser.
The
Yeah.
Maris-
Notorious street gang in the Western Hemisphere.
Oh.
They sell a lot of cocaine and they raise money for MS. And so they have like a good intentions, but they definitely, the way they go by it is sketchy.
So what does the 13 symbolize on your hand?
Absolutely nothing. It's just my favorite number.
Are you serious? Nothing means anything on you. What the?
No, it doesn't have to.
What's the most meaningful tattoo you have?
I don't know.
And can we see it?
No, I don't. There's nothing that's like super meaningful, to be honest. Yeah.
What was your first tattoo?
Oh, my first one was a good one. I was 17, maybe 16, and I got bike chain around my calf.
Ah, classic. Jason's got that.
Gets better.
Oh.
But the bike chain was also on fire. So flames were like going up my calf. It's covered now with like a bunch of other crap. You can't even tell what it is, but yeah.
This
Classic.
reminds me of one more mountain bike related question. Go ahead. What were you going to say?
No, I was just said classic tattoo.
Yeah.
Yeah, mountain bike.
For the times.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
Sorry, I might keep saying one more mountain bike question for the next 3 hours. But Jason said you had a really gnarly mountain bike injury. That's worth sharing.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I thought it was maybe leg related.
Yeah, it was in your leg, your knee,
What happened to my
and
knee?
it exploded.
My knee exploded?
Didn't it?
I don't think so.
Like crazy. Or is this your buddy
My buddy.
who I've never met who you keep talking
Oh,
about?
my buddy Wayne? I mean, we've all...
What's your gnarliest injury? I feel like you've told me this story 1,000 times.
I mean, I've had some gnarly injuries, but like nothing like Casimir's had like surgery and like, you know, rods and stuff in him. All of mine are just like big, nasty cuts and like...
Yeah,
terrible
where you've seen
concussions.
bone.
Yeah, stuff like that. And like my gnarliest injury wasn't a bike injury. I dropped a table on my foot.
Oh. And what happened? You broke your foot?
No, I dropped it on my toe, actually, my big toe, and it popped the toe.
Oh my God.
And it pushed the toenail down like through the toe, like onto the bone or whatever. And so the toe, like there was obviously a bunch of broken bones in the toe or whatever, little bones in there. And the guts were like hanging out.
Great song.
Yep, the guts were hanging out of the toe like that much. And so they had to, so I went to the hospital, obviously, and they couldn't give me some type of drug because there was too much alcohol in my system.
No.
So
So
they
much
had,
Monster Energy. These guys had 7 Monster Energies. We can't give them anything.
so they had to give me like a toe block thing or whatever, and they sewed my toenail back onto the toe, and they like pushed the guts, like the toe stuff back in, and then they like sewed it shut or whatever. I couldn't wear a shoe for like almost 2 months. That was probably one of my gnarliest injuries.
You probably were happy not to wear the shoes.
Maybe that's why I hate wearing shoes.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but nothing like, I've never had like bones, like knock on wood, but I've never had bones sticking out and like
Okay.
stuff like that. There's injuries where like I'm going to feel them forever, but they're not like anything crazy bad.
I like that sticking out is your like metric for not that gnarly. Like they weren't sticking out. Sounds pretty chill.
Ride tomorrow.
Yeah, exactly.
I've seen some gnarly things happen for sure. Like I've had buddies like, I mean, I think we've all seen crazy bad stuff happen. Stuff that makes you go like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore.
Yeah, this is supposed to be a fun sport.
Yeah, exactly. This isn't fun anymore. Search and rescue's coming.
Okay, let's tie a bow on the bike stuff with blind ranking of best bike inventions.
Oh. Yeah. So I wasn't ready for this, but I have it. We have 5 bike innovations that have kind of changed whatever, mountain biking.
Okay.
5 of them. You're going to rank them blindly so you won't know what's coming.
Okay.
Make sense?
And I can only use the number once? Like
Yeah.
Yeah. 1 is the best, 5th is the worst.
Yeah. So 1 to 5, starting off with dropper posts.
1 is the best? 1.
Oh, boy.
I knew it.
Courageous.
I mean, it lets you have fun everywhere. I can ride my bike anywhere and have fun, even if it has shitty brakes and no suspension.
It is nice.
Okay, number 2, modern geometry.
I mean, I was having fun before modern geometry, so who really cares? I don't know. 3?
Tubeless tires.
I fucking hate I had a flat this weekend. I was on a pretty long bike ride and I had a flat tire and I was like almost 100 kilometers from home and I just pumped it up like every 20 kilometers. So I'm like, I'm not putting a tube in. 2.
Jason had a flat the other day on when we were filming, and haven't seen him that angry in a little bit.
It wasn't just a flat. I snapped a tubeless valve while pumping it up on the trail. So the pump got ruined because the tubeless valve got stuck in the pump. All the air came out, and we did have a tube and a CO2, but the CO2 didn't work well enough.
Also, you're there. You're not just on a bike ride. You're there to do a thing.
We're working.
You're doing a thing.
Yeah.
And then you can't do the thing. Like, we've been at field tests and I've had a flat tire and like lost my mind.
Okay, this is a divergent, a good story. I remember. So, yeah, we can say this. Field Test had a sponsor, tire sponsor, Maxxis. Great tires, but that meant we had to put Maxxis tires on every single bike at Field Test. And
how many bikes is that?
Between 10 and 15 bikes.
It was 10 bikes that year, so it was 20 wheel sets.
20 wheel sets. We also had, this might have been the same year, Cushcore as a sponsor.
This is why I quit.
I remember I came over to your place on a weekend because you were just like, we were all losing our minds. It was so hard to get all this stuff together, and we had to film like the next day or something.
Yeah.
Either way, you were inflating a carbon rim.
Yeah.
Full of sealant, new tire, pumping it up, and the carbon rim.
It surely got damaged in shipping.
Yeah. This isn't the rim's fault. It was damaged in some way to where Mike was pumping it up, got really high in pressure, bang, the whole rim exploded, tire exploded, sealant everywhere, all over the room. Like literally like, what, 60 PSI in a tire? And
I was trying to seat it. Yeah.
It sounded like a grenade went off.
Oh my
And it was like the classic ears ringing after in a movie. You're like, what the fuck? And like Max was there filming it, and you just had sealant like all over your face.
I think you guys were in the shop and I was in the garage, and I think all you heard was the bang followed by fuck.
What are the carbon shards?
Yeah, it's actually kind of gnarly.
I mean, yeah, it didn't like go flying, like, but there was definitely like sealant everywhere, and there was some carbon and stuff, and like, I mean, those days, like, that's when you learn, like, you just take it to the bike shop and pay the people to do the thing. Like, this is not worth my time. I still like do that, and also like the fucking efficiency test from that SRM computer. I could have thrown that thing. So I thought we had to send it back. Otherwise, I would have thrown it into the bushes as far as I could. I was losing my mind.
But then you
3
would have
days.
retrieved it and then put it into the electronics
No.
recycling.
No.
Okay.
No, I would have thrown it into the ocean.
Okay. Wherever it belongs.
So anyway, option number 4. 29ers.
I mean, I like them, but who cares? Probably 5.
5.
I don't know.
Okay, so that's number 2 then.
Like,
right?
none of this
no,
stuff
number
is
4.
super important. Dropper post, though.
So then your number 4 choice is wireless drivetrains.
Oh, fuck. I do love me a wireless drivetrain, but that should be number like 30, like, or 50. Like, no, that doesn't matter. Dropper post for sure, though.
Yeah.
Is there anything that's higher that's you'd put as 1 instead of dropper post? Or is that the biggest game changer?
I think for me, like, because I specifically, was riding bikes when dropper post came out, how you would use a dropper post. Like, we were going on, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 hour mountain bike rides and doing a lot of this. That I wasn't shuttling much then. So for me, like, I think that's why it sticks in my head so well, the dropper post being so important. I remember I got a Crank Brothers Joplin with the lever underneath the seat, and we did 7 summits, and my buddy Wayne was with me, and I remember he's like, fuck that thing, you don't need that stupid thing. And then I wasn't stopping to lower my seat, and I was having a ton of fun. But somebody who lives in Tucson would probably say tubeless tires are a lot more important, because they got all the pointy rocks and thorns. I don't know.
Cactus.
I remember being a kid, and the lever was sometimes too difficult for me to do, but I had to, put the seat up and down.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
a nightmare even when I was younger.
Nowadays, I think like just all that together, all those 5 things together, you put them together and you could just get on your 100 mil bike and ride it almost anywhere, or 120 mil bike and ride it almost anywhere, even in the sea to sky. Like, it's crazy. And that's another reason why writing about bikes wasn't all that interesting anymore, to be honest. All the bikes are fucking good.
Yeah, they're all good.
It's like, newsflash, this $12,000 Trek doesn't suck. Wow.
All right, Dave, give us a boo. Boo that shit.
Boo.
Dave.
Okay, now let's just
Now the real podcast starts.
Now we're gonna start. All right, let's take a left turn, but let's kick things off with how about a blind ranking of the best aliens?
Yeah.
Shall we?
So same game. We've got 5 famous aliens, and you got to rank them.
I don't even think I think of 5 famous aliens.
Well, we thought of
You'll
them
know
for
these
you.
ones.
okay.
Number 1, E.T.
I want to say number 1 or number 2 because a lot of movies paint that sort of interaction as like a super scary thing, you know, like evil, bad, they're coming to hurt you. But that movie didn't. Same with Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Like that movie didn't kind of either. But I would say number 1 or number 2. Like if you think about like everyone else.
But which one?
Number 1.
Okay. Sure. Oh, damn. Xenomorph.
Oh, is that from Alien? Oh, dude, that's one of the like. Those are so good. There's a new one coming out.
Mhm.
I
Yeah.
love those movies. Every year I watch them. Yeah. 4?
No takesy backsies.
4.
Sorry, what was that?
4?
Superman.
Superman?
Mhm.
He's an alien? I don't know anything about Superman.
He's from Krypton.
Oh, he is. 5?
Boo,
I don't really like Superman. Superman sucks.
Spock.
Oh, Spock. 3.
That means number 4.
2.
Or
2.
number 2 is Jar Jar Binks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, sure, why not?
I stand
Super,
by my
I
ranking.
think he's super annoying. Like he ruined that movie. Like he's like an overbearing character. It's super. I found him super annoying. So I think I would actually put Jar Jar like 6.
Yeah.
But E.T. number 1 for sure. Yeah.
What's your favorite alien? Like
In-
pop culture.
In movies?
Not the ones that actually exist.
We're not there yet.
We're not there.
I hadn't really thought about it, to be honest. I mean, probably like a E.T. Yeah. Yeah.
It's a fair answer.
Yeah. I can't think of any. I've never thought, what other aliens are there in pop culture?
There's Alf.
Oh, Elf. Fuck yeah. Elf.
I knew it. I knew it. We
They
all
took it off
used
the
all
list.
Also, the alien from American Dad.
Oh, Roger?
That was
Roger.
my other
Damn, I
suggestion.
didn't think you know Roger.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you did say that.
Yeah.
I was like, that's an odd one.
I think that's it, though. I'm tapped out.
A lot of people love Roger.
Yeah.
That's funny. So, okay, you're hugely into aliens, correct?
Yeah, I think everybody should be, but yes.
Fair enough.
Took that personally.
So, what's the latest and greatest in the world of believers?
Well, I mean, I don't know. I wouldn't know how to answer that question because everyone has their own, like, all their own beliefs, you know, and like.
For you.
Yeah, like what's
Well, think about it. Dave, are you a believer?
I'm agnostic to it, where I'm like probably.
Jason?
yes.
Okay, actually, so my first question for you guys is just forget about aliens.
Yes.
Is something weird happening? Is something flying around? Are these people getting taken? Is something strange going on?
I'm sorry. What? Repeat that. What?
Be more specific.
Yeah.
Are incidents happening? Are people seeing things? Are these real events happening, regardless of if they're aliens? Forget about aliens. They could be whatevers, you know? It could be a figment of everybody's imagination that we are all creating, you know? But the first thing I think that everyone probably should agree on at this point is that something is happening,
Yes.
right?
Yeah. I think there's too many weird videos of things. I mean, I think, well, maybe it's drones, secret military technology, weather balloons. Everything's filmed on like a potato too, which is
There's a reason for that.
very inconvenient.
I think there's a reason for that. Yeah. I think that the way that these crafts, we're completely speculating. Anybody that tells you they know doesn't know shit. But if these crafts or whatever they are, if they work the way it seems to be, it's like an electromagnetic thing, and that's going to fuck up your camera stuff. It's not going to work. And even when people see them, a lot of times it's not a crystal clear thing. It's not like a sharp edge of this table here. It's fuzzy. You know, a lot of them are changing shapes and shit.
If I was writing a movie though, and I had to like come up with a reasoning, that'd be like a big convenient reasoning for why you can't capture it.
Yeah, it definitely is convenient, and it might be by accident on their part. Like it might just be a byproduct of whatever technology that they're using, or it might be on purpose. You know, it obviously affects like all sorts of electronic stuff. Like people's cars stop running, planes, like issues with planes, with radar and all sorts of stuff. Like it's both like people are seeing them, and then an object is also showing up on radar. So it's a physical object of some sort if it's showing up on radar, corroborated by somebody seeing it as well. So it's, yeah, I don't know. You know, it's a crazy thing.
I think there's like 4 options, okay? They're underground.
Yep.
They're among us on Earth.
They probably are.
They're up in the sky in space. Or they exist in the 4th dimension and they're all seeing and they can see us wherever we are at all times.
Yeah. And I think it's super important to just like brainstorm about those things, because I don't think people actually, there may be some people who actually know, but what about if I told you that they're from a different time? Like not time travel, a different timeline.
Right.
You know, the thing is, people are crazy. Like people believe in other dimensions. That's like, I'm not going to say it's bullshit, but there actually isn't any proof, you know? But here we are, it's like entered our lexicon. And it's like other dimensions exist and like microbes exist, you know? And like, you ain't never seen a microbe, Jason.
Oh,
Some guy.
I haven't seen Matt's penis.
Yeah.
Do you know it exists? It might not.
It just da-dumped himself.
Yeah.
He stole it from me.
Yeah, I was going to say,
gonna
look
say it
between your
about you.
legs.
Yeah,
Anyways,
yeah, I was gonna-
we're all geniuses, yep.
Yeah, I don't know. I just think that it is probably it is the most interesting and probably the most important subject that we could possibly tackle as humans. More important than these fucking wars, more important than all these like diseases that we're trying to cure. And like, this is a much bigger thing. Like zoom out, you know?
Yeah, well, they talk like, you know, I didn't really narrow it down much, saying they're either on the land, they're underground, up in space, or something that we can't even fathom. But yeah, there must be some sort of secret material that's hidden. Like, you know, they talk about these like metals that are
They got a
different,
lot
have
more
different
than
properties.
metals. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Sure, yeah, because you know the periodic table. Like I think about the periodic table. You learn that you learn about it in high school, and then you look at an old textbook, and they're like, oh yeah, we didn't add that element. They didn't know about that one 30 years ago, and it just makes me wonder, like, okay, well in 30 years, what are we gonna be adding? You know, 50, 100, whatever. And what do those metals do? What can you do with them?
But that one is a little like, I think you might be referring to the Bob Lazar thing and the element 115 or whatever. Like you can predict elements, you know, like if, I don't know how many elements there are now, but like there's going to be 4 more of them on there at some point. Like they know this, I assume.
It's like Pokemon.
The Bob Lazar thing, I don't even know what I'm referencing. I'm just getting it out of the deepest fold in my brain. But they are, that was like the spacecraft that he thinks he saw that was like a completely,
Yeah,
there was
so
no like
Bob-
welds or anything. It was,
Exactly. And that is super common. You know, that's basically how people describe a lot of them, regardless of the shape. But the Bob Lazar thing, this is back in like the 80s or the 90s or whatever. And he basically said that they use a different element 115, like as part of their fuel to do whatever. And it didn't exist at the time, but you could just predict that it existed. Like that's not, to me, there is no proof, and I don't believe that there's aliens. I should say that also. Like, it's not like I'm going to sit here. There was a time like I would sit here and like want to fight you guys to convince you that aliens exist. But
I remember those times.
yeah, that was like 6 months ago. Yeah. But now, like, it's, I mean, if you're not paying attention, like, you're missing out.
So are you more of the mind of believing in the research that should be dedicated to seeing if there's aliens rather than the aliens themselves?
I'm of the mind, I think the most important thing is that more people need to be talking about this. And the biggest question in my mind is, why don't you guys care more? Like, this is more important than your hockey. This is way more important than bikes. Like,
don't take it personal, Dave.
fuck your hockey. Whoa. But this is, it's the kind of, like, do you remember, you don't remember because we weren't around then, but like, we go back to like Christopher Columbus, you know, sailing across the, tons of people didn't want the church to use that money for him to go there. It's almost like half of us are sort of like programmed, like our software doesn't want us to like consider things and like do stuff. And like, you have all these people that like say we're wasting money, like Elon is wasting money on spaceships. Like, get a fucking life. What do you, like, we should be going up there and doing that stuff. That's important, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's like exactly what you said, like setting out to sea on a ship. You don't know what the hell that's gonna equal.
Yeah,
But you gotta go. You don't know till you go. Famous words of Sterling Lawrence.
I don't think it's all your guys' fault though, too, because like the media for years now, media is changing, thank God. But like all these media places, like legacy media, all those places, like they're just mouthpieces for the military and for the fucking Air Force and for the government. And like people can laugh about it all you want, but like that's fact. Like if you're still getting your news from like the New York Times, like you ain't getting shit, you know? Not that I'm seeking or finding truth anywhere else, but like you should be getting your things somewhere else because it's happening. And like these people aren't covering it. Why aren't they covering it?
Well, this is why you come to the Feeding Off Each Other podcast, because we are covering.
Yeah, we're going to cover.
Have you guys ever seen anything in the sky that you were like, what the fuck was that?
Well, we saw the Northern Lights once.
They're neat.
I saw a spaceship with my family years ago.
Cape Canaveral? Did you see it take off?
I don't know where I was going. With lightning in Florida somewhere, of course. I don't know. I have no idea. I was too young. Other than that, no. Those were all things that I
feel like
things that should be in the sky.
Maybe you have and you don't remember. That's
yeah,
the other
that
thing.
could be it.
Like these things don't let you remember.
Men in Black.
There was the one time we saw the Starlink and we freaked out for a little bit and then totally realized.
So last year, Sarah's out with the dogs in the backyard and I hear her yell at me like, Mike, come outside. She knows I'm psycho about this shit. And I don't even have shoes on. I can just tell from her voice.
Of course,
like,
you never
something's
do.
going on, right? Run outside and I look up and I see, you see the Starlink satellite.
Yeah, like 5 dots in a row.
Yeah, well, this was way more than 5. And they were trucking.
Okay.
And as the light stops reflecting off of them, they disappear. They don't disappear, they're still there, but the light doesn't hit them anymore, so you can't see them. So it looks like they're like leaving,
Right.
Leaving.
And I was in this road, I was standing in the road without shoes on. And I was like, I had my arms up like this and I was looking up.
Take me.
And there was a car coming and I was like doing this. And then I realized.
Pointing up.
Yeah. And then I realized right away, I was like, oh, it's Starlink. Like, and that's why, I mean, you have to be like, I think you have to be realistic about this stuff. Like all the things you see aren't aliens and aren't UFOs until they are, and I'll say another thing too. Sometimes people will report seeing something that looks like a UFO, classic, whatever saucer thing. And there'll be 5 people with them that say they see it and 2 other people saw a plane. What? Like there's something going on. And maybe those people that saw the plane, those are the same kind of people that don't have the curiosity. Like they're like not interested in the subject and would poo-poo it. And it's not like, they're not like being mean. They're just like wired to not see it maybe. I don't know.
Well, I think it goes back to like almost like lizard brain stuff where like
maybe,
in early humans, a thunder strike would happen. What is it? I don't know. Magic. Gods are pissed. Like
possibly
trying to find reason is in human nature.
Yeah.
For things.
Yeah. Yeah. And like, I know people, I mean, we both know somebody he's an engineer and I asked him like, why don't you care about this? This is like the most interesting thing ever. And he looked at me and he said, well, they don't know what it is yet. And when they know what it is, like, I'll find out what it is too. It's just wired differently. But I mean, I've seen crazy shit, and that's not why I'm pretty sure I would be interested in it regardless. But I've also seen things where I was like, that's not fucking normal,
Right.
What'd you see?
I saw, there are 2 things that I'll share. There's been more than that, but I don't want to share. Even these 2 things, like, to be honest with you, like, I only started talking about it a couple years ago. And that is weird too.
Because you were scared to share?
No, it's not like that. Like, it's just like I know that, not specifically Matt, but like, I know that, he would be sitting there being like, oh God, it's like he saw like a plane glinting in the sky or like, and there's nothing wrong with that. You should always be skeptical. You should always question everything, but yeah, it just didn't feel, yeah. So the first thing, I've said this on the Pinkbike podcast, so.
We didn't get the scoop? Forget it. Skip to 2.
I'll say it again. I woke up, I was 8 or 9 years old, and I was sleeping downstairs in my bed at the time. This was before my sister was born, so I was in the downstairs bedroom, and the head of the bed was pushed up against the window. So like, windows like there kind of thing. And I woke up like this. Like first
Like a
off,
vampire.
like what kind of 8 or 9-year-old boy sleeps like this? You know, they don't. And I woke up and instantly like looked out the window and there was a black triangle with 3 blue lights on it. And it was, the thing is you can't tell how big it is because you don't know how far away it is. It could have been, if it was like just above the tree line, you know, it might have been 50 feet by 50 feet kind of thing. But if it was way above the tree line, then it would have been way larger. I have no idea. But I woke up, I opened my eyes, my arms are crossed over my chest, and the fucking triangle told me to go to sleep. It said, go back to sleep.
In what? In English?
In my head.
In your head.
In my head. That's also super common. You know, and I did. And I also remember that the sky was blue. It could have been summer, you know, a summer morning, but I just thought it was weird that the sky is blue and I'm waking up and then all of a sudden I'm going back to sleep. Like this, none of this adds up. And I remember waking up like later on in the morning and I don't remember like what time it was. I don't remember anything, but like nothing was weird. But I remember knowing like I'm not going to tell. I don't want to say that. I remember just thinking like, I don't want to say that. That fucking happened, you know? Craziness, dude. Like,
That's a cool story.
I mean, yeah, probably a lot of people would chalk it up to sleep paralysis and say, it's just sleep paralysis, right? And they don't want to open up their mind to other possibilities.
Sleep paralysis is definitely a thing, 100%.
But also like a phenomenon that weird thing, like people see black figures, dark figures in the corner.
Shadow
I've had
people.
it.
I've had the sleep paralysis demon.
I haven't experienced that.
Did you see like a shadow person?
Yes.
Describe it for me.
Oh my god,
Goosebumps.
Oh
Look at
my
that.
God, he is erect.
My skin's erect.
Yeah.
Talk slow.
I had
Oh, that's hot.
I had a period of like 6 months where it was happening, like recurring, maybe about 9 years ago. And basically I'd be sleeping and then I would wake up and be paralyzed, sleep paralysis. And there'd be like a floating black, you know, like
My man.
like a Dementor. It looked like Harry Potter vibes. And what it felt like was it was sucking my soul out of my body. And I just, it felt like the most profoundly dark thing I can imagine. Like it felt worse than dying. And I don't know what that means, but in the moment it was just like this existential, like eternal, like massive, like emptiness and nothingness.
So when I asked you if you had seen anything weird, you said no. And I want to know why you said no.
Right. Well, I think, sorry.
Yeah.
I was thinking the sky.
Yeah.
And now I'm like thinking about all these other things. Go ahead, Dave.
It's not just the sky.
Sure.
It's way bigger than that.
Okay.
This phenomenon is way bigger than UFOs and aliens. Keep going.
Okay. Why I would say no is because my sort of logic and what I've been told and taught would be that that's a internal natural phenomenon.
Yeah, and very well could have been. Sure. A lot of people wake up, report seeing orbs and things in their room, orbs that go through walls. Sometimes these orbs cause damage, physical damage to their bodies if they go through their body. Right. You know, like I guess I'm just a curious guy. And there's like so much we don't know. Like everybody, not everybody, but so many people, like we don't realize like what is right on this table right here. Like we can't see it or feel it. Yeah, our senses are very limited. We're only allowed to see what we can see, like all that cliche stuff. But you had a crazy experience. That happened multiple times?
And I didn't want to sleep for a while.
So when it would happen, would you wake up to it?
Yeah, I would have to force my body with like every fiber of my being to wake up.
Yeah.
And then it would be almost impossible to stay awake. And I would scramble for like a piece of electronics and I would like turn on like Friends or something to try to sort of wake myself and watch something sort of calming.
Dude, how long did this happen for? Like how many times?
I don't know, maybe happened like 3 times or something over maybe a couple months.
Was there anything else in your life at that time, like weird going on?
That's what everyone always asks, and I don't think
weird
so.
synchronicities, like
no. And what? No, the question people always ask is, "Oh, were you going through a really stressful time?"
Yeah, I don't want to know that.
No. I don't remember. I think I was living in a newer place.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's the only
interesting. Yeah, I mean. People for years have reported, it sounds like when I say shadow people, like it sounds like something it sounds like a terrible movie, you know, like a terrible B movie, but like that's an actual thing that people report. And
well, there's reports of the sleep paralysis demon for like hundreds of years. Like there's drawings, like Renaissance paintings and stuff of it.
So around the same time that I saw that, whatever was in the sky, there would be times where I would wake up and I would be sleeping on my stomach, and what felt like 2 knees on my back, pushing onto like my shoulder blades, and probably like over 100 pounds, you know, and pushing me into the bed. And I remember like the bed like coming up to me because of the extra weight, you know, like that's not like I didn't just gain 100 pounds while I was sleeping. Like I was literally getting pushed into the bed more. And I remember being so scared that I couldn't make a sound.
Whoa.
And then passing out. I actually haven't talked about that before, but yeah, that's like, and you know, sleep paralysis 100%. That's a thing, and sleepwalking's a thing. And like, I'm not saying it's not those things, but I'm saying when you look at all the weird things together, you know.
My family grew up in I grew up in my family's house that my grandfather built in the 50s.
Oh,
and
cool.
My grandfather passed away. We moved in with my grandmother. And I think my brother, my mom, me, maybe my dad, we all have our own little stories from that house.
Yeah.
Never had anything weird happen in any other house since. But I remember my brother had sleep paralysis one time. And he had the whole kind of story of like something on his chest. It was weighted, then a figure, and he couldn't say anything. He had that whole experience. And then another thing where in that same room where he heard a knock on the door, and we were living with my grandmother, and he opened the door and there's no one there, and she was asleep. And we were all on the other side of the house upstairs, and there was nobody there. But 1 or 2 of the spookiest things, it was 2 events with televisions in that house that happened to me that were, I still try to figure out what the logic was behind these events. I was in my bedroom sleeping middle of the night, and I had old CRT TV, and it just would randomly turn on in the middle of the night.
Oh, weird.
It would randomly turn on, and it would always be static. It wouldn't be like
a channel.
A channel. It wouldn't be anything.
Yeah.
And it would always be like full volume. And the only way to turn it off would be
shit
to
out
like
of you.
smack it or something like that and turn it off.
Yeah.
And that would happen with another TV downstairs, an even older TV. This TV is ancient. And these TVs would just turn on. And
maybe it's your grandpa, man.
You know, but and I know my mother always kind of, she believes in like you know, people who have passed speaking to us, like you see a butterfly, it's you know, a relative or whatever.
Crazy shit happens, dude.
And I think I'm a little spooked out. I try to distance myself from those things and just be like, nah, it's just a butterfly. Nah, it's just I think it's like a little spooky for me.
Yeah.
But anyways, the TV thing, I've tried to figure out what the heck could that have been. And I remember in the moment, probably my mom was just trying to make me feel comfortable. And she would say, oh, there's probably like a truck drove by. We were right on a busy street. Yeah. Maybe a truck.
With jostled it?
Yeah. Or no, like it had like an electronic in it or something. And it mixed the signals and it turned the TV on.
Yeah.
And that was still to this day probably one of the spookiest things, because that happens, and then okay, well, anyways, it's off now. Good night. And I'm just there terrified. Yeah. Staring at the ceiling. I
think sometimes we sense things that, I mean, there could be stuff there that, I mean, how many of us have been somewhere, like you're in a room where you got to like walk down to the basement and like, you know, you get a funny feeling, and 99% of the time it's nothing, but sometimes it's something. And like, I don't know. I think all of it's connected. Like, I don't think aliens would be boring. I always say that. Like, if it was aliens from another planet, like that's pretty fucking cool, you know? But at the same time, it'd be a lot more interesting if it was like something like the aliens or something to do with the spirit world, and like all this stuff is connected. And yeah, I don't know.
I have 2 ghost stories if you want to hear them.
I 100% do.
No, that's all the time we have today. Thanks for listening to the.
So I had a great uncle that he was like the first person I knew that died when I was 8 or whatever age, and he had false teeth.
Yeah.
And so he would do this thing where he could like chatter them like inside his own mouth.
Yeah.
Do sort of a funny thing.
That's such an old guy thing.
Kind of creepy. And he was also, when he died, he was really, really skinny.
Yeah.
Because, you know. Anyway, so, but he was very, like a very warm, fun, funny guy. I was sleeping one night and then I woke up and I looked over at a chair and I saw him sitting in the chair.
Yeah, you did.
And he he said, "Hi, David." And he did the teeth chattery thing.
Yeah.
And for about maybe 10 years after that, I slept facing a wall.
Yeah.
So that I couldn't wake up and see something. And then I had a similar story. This was after a friend of mine's grandpa died, who I had no real personal connection with, but I sort of connected the things retroactively, maybe unrelated. But I woke up and I, again, looked over to a different chair in the same bedroom.
Yeah.
And there was a man in like a trench coat and like an old timey fedora sort of hat. And there was kind of like a silhouette of smoke.
Could you see through him, or was he like physical, or?
It seemed physical-ish, but very shadowy.
Yeah,
Very
okay.
like indefined.
Yeah.
And he looked at me, kind of like, I didn't see a face, just sort of like silhouette-y. He kind of like tipped his hat and then walked through my door.
What did you do then?
Okay, so the first time, the great uncle one, I was more scared than I've ever been. I like ran out of my bedroom, I knocked on my parents' door, freaked out. That one, I've never felt more comforted.
Isn't that crazy?
That one, I was like, hello to you too, and I went back to sleep.
Yeah.
It was like there was no problems at all. It was like a very like warm experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I kind of share the same thing with not like I sleep towards a wall or a pillow. I always had a fear of the dark. It was intense when I was young.
Yeah.
And even Brooke, when I sleep on the couch by choice, every once in a while, if depending on the angle, I could see through the hallway that leads to a dark room, and I do not like seeing like a long distance into a dark room when I'm trying to sleep.
Yeah.
So I stack pillows so it shortens my view, so I can't see anything.
I think that's like innate in all of us, you know, like to be scared of stuff like that, you know, like I've been like in the bush at night, like you think you're getting chased,
right?
Like, you know, and that doesn't go away. It's we're humans, but deep down we're also like a wounded animal in the forest trying to find somewhere to sleep sometimes, you know, trying to find somewhere to sleep safe.
Right. And is it like an instinctual thing that's just in our genes that like hundreds and hundreds of years ago, you know, we lived longer when we avoided the dark, and when we, you know.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Also, if you know, I'll see things on Instagram and it's talking about how to optimize like a bedroom design or a layout or something, and they always say you want to make it smaller and cozier.
Oh,
so you don't want like a big expansive space because there's more unknown that you can see. Like your brain doesn't like that.
So I stay in my place in Chilliwack sometimes, and before we sorted out where to sleep and stuff in there, I just had the mattress like on the floor in the living room, and I would go there to just ride my bike and stuff. And like I would go like on huge rides, like I'm just destroyed. Like I should be sleeping like 20 hours. And in the living room, because it's so big, I would get 2 hours sleep. I just couldn't do it. You know, I drag the mattress into the small room, boom, 10 hours sleep.
Yep.
Yeah, I can't sleep in a big room. It feels like someone's watching me.
So I've now, that was my great fear, was waking up and seeing something, kind of Matt's thing. Now I want to be proven that there is something else. So now I'm kind of like, I'll open my eyes in the middle of the night in the dark and be like, anything?
Do you meditate, or do you like before you go to sleep, do you like put it out there? Do you talk in your head at all?
No, but I also have had lots of lucid dreams.
Yeah, I wish.
Cool.
I've lots of lucid dreaming myself.
Yeah.
The only dreams I remember are plane crashes. So
Plane crashes? Oh man, I've had a few of those
Yeah.
recently, actually. But yeah, I've had lucid dreams where I can fly and whatever.
love that. I've never done it.
I've died in dreams.
Really?
Yep. I got shot once.
Fatality.
I got shot in the chest, and then instead of it feeling painful, it felt like a warmth kind of went over my whole body, and then I like floated above myself, and it was very peaceful. It felt very nice, actually.
Maybe your
kinda comforting.
consciousness, while you're sleeping, your consciousness was somewhere else, and that person, you somewhere else, maybe that person got shot, and that's what you're seeing or feeling.
What is that? Astral projections? Do they call that?
Yeah, I have no idea. Yeah,
Maybe you peed yourself.
yeah.
I
Maybe it's
didn't.
just urine.
I didn't.
You know, feng shui, if you have the bed with your feet or your head facing towards the door, they call that dead man's position.
Is that good or bad? It sounds bad.
I think that's a bad thing. No, it's bad. That's bad feng shui.
You have to be turned.
Yeah, if you don't put your bed right next to the facing the door.
Okay.
Like, yeah. So if
Feet towards the door.
feet to the word or
redecorating
head
to do.
towards the door. According to this, people who practice feng shui call it the dead man's position or the coffin position because the feet or head face the door and resemble how a dead person is in a coffin.
It's easy to like kind of like make fun of that stuff, like poo-poo it, but like who knows?
Well,
You know?
I mean,
Can't prove it wrong.
Can't prove
No,
it
I-
wrong, so I might as well.
Well, also people,
I don't poo-poo it at all. I
people-
actively avoid that.
people disregard sort of the old traditions because they're like, those were old, but like they might have developed over time for good reasons.
For a reason.
yeah.
Yeah. Things get passed around.
Or the thing about how, certain religions, they don't eat shellfish and pigs, and that's like part of the religion, but the practical purpose was, those were animals that were filter feeders and ate,
Yep.
pigs eat shit, and like they're just practical rules.
Yeah. Yeah.
Do you know anything about plasmoid?
Plasmoid technology, lightning technology.
Yeah.
Not enough to talk about it. That's for sure.
Too bad.
I do know.
I hardly
that-
know enough to even bring it up.
Yeah, so there are some smart people out there doing some cool stuff for sure. And they are, it still needs like a generator and you still need fuel. But I want to say that the exhaust that comes out of it is like basically like not exhaust. Like it's inconsequential. But I don't know anything about any of that stuff. Yeah.
Well, so it's some sort of like new form of energy that's electromagnetic, and it's in the shape of a donut.
Yeah.
That's after your own heart.
And I don't even know how it came across it. You go down the wormhole one night, right? And you're
Yeah.
looking at plasmoid videos on YouTube. But at the time when I searched it up, there was only like a couple videos on this thing. And then now you type in plasmoid technology and there's new articles popping up. And it seems like, this is like developing technology. It makes me wonder, like, okay, whatever this is, again, I'm stupid. So
We all are,
I don't
man.
even
We're
know
all
what the hell I'm
stupid.
talking about. But if this thing exists, if it's a thing, like how long ago did someone know about this? Oh yeah, plasmoid. Oh yeah. What's the next thing that we're like 100 years away from even discovering?
I think an interesting thing to think about. So if that plasmoid stuff works, which it certainly looks like it, I mean, they could have been doing that a long time ago. So like, what kind of tech did they have a long time ago? It's easy to think that we're like fucking peak human right now.
Is this turning into like classic white dudes podcast where we just start talking about
100.
nothing?
Can I talk about my
100%.
mushroom trip and how it like turned me into a better human?
We're like saying so many words that mean nothing now.
Yeah.
If that is a thing, the thing is like
So good.
It's going to be a game
It's
changer.
like game changer.
Yes. The answer is yes.
Yes.
I still don't even know what you're talking about when you say plasmoid.
Yeah. We didn't.
You
Like I
really
said,
define
we're-
it.
I'm not going to talk about it
You
because I
just
don't
We're
know
gonna-
shit.
Lightning?
Man, I tried to bring up a little like definition, but it's so complicated. I don't know. We're gonna have to have you on for part 2.
Yeah, do some reading about plasmoid stuff and come back and tell us.
Yeah, or call in to the pod, speakpipe.com/feeding of each other, and teach us about plasmoid. If there's any scientists listening,
Is this live?
no, they'll call in the future.
This experience.
Does time
we're having.
exist, man?
Levy, what do you hope all the paranormal things that people experience are? Like, what would be the coolest in your mind?
I don't think we can know. I think that's a big thing.
Like, we're not allowed to know.
I don't think we're allowed to know. I don't think we are like suited to know that stuff. Maybe at this point.
It's like explaining the internet to a dog.
Yeah, maybe we don't have the facilities to understand it. And that would be a bummer, I think. But I think one of the more interesting things is if they've been here all along. Whether they're aliens or not, but if they've been here all along in our oceans, lots of these things are coming in and out of the oceans, flying in and out of the oceans, which, I mean, would be a great place to hide since we don't know shit about what's going on down there. And that sounds crazy. Like, doesn't it? It sounds crazy for me to sit here and say, check out those underwater alien bases. It's not even crazy anymore. And if you're not paying attention to it and like, if you don't think that, you should look into it. Google just fucking like airbrushed some shit off Catalina Island.
What?
Yeah. So there was some like weird shape under the water, the seamount thing, and a retired admiral is the one, Timothy Godet, I want to say, he's the one who brought this up. And they like got a submersible down there and like, just not a submersible, but a sonar thing so they could see the shapes. And I guess the shapes were like super unnatural looking, like very strange, unnatural looking. And you could actually go onto Google Earth and you could see this stuff. And now it's gone. The shape of it is gone. They scrubbed it.
But why?
I don't know. Isn't that interesting? It's just interesting. Like everybody should be like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
You should want to know what's down there. And Catalina Island, I mean, that is like a super hot spot for things flying around.
It's also where the Catalina wine mixer is.
Exactly. Motherfucking Catalina wine mixer.
I think the sort of skepticism of all the crazy things is funny because people are like, no, things are just boring and normal. But nothing is really boring and normal.
No.
Everything is crazy. Like literally like the way a human body works, the way we're a rock in space, and like the illusion, this is not a unique thought. This is, you know, everyone on a podcast probably, but everything's weird.
Everything is weird. And I think I think so many of us, not that I don't have my blinders on, because there's absolutely nothing, you know, but so many of us just have our blinders on and we don't think about all these other things because we have like a shit job and like kids we don't like and like, you know, and like a failing marriage or something, and like life, we have life. You know, everybody gets caught up in like all this like crazy life stuff. And I think part of the problem is we don't have time. People don't have time to think about this stuff anymore because they have an important job they have to work 10 hours a day at, and their wife does too. And they have 2 kids and they have daycare, and like, that's not how it's supposed to be. 100% not. You should have the time to think about other things.
Yeah, I mean, that's why it's nice to like go camping once in a while and just look at the stars and have nothing to do.
Yeah.
Other than just kind of think, what's out there, man?
Yeah, exactly.
And then you're back in the hustle.
Well, that's
in the
why
day-to-day stuff.
People often say that the hunter-gatherer lifestyle was so much better because you would spend like 2 hours hunting.
Yeah.
And then people would just kind of sit around and like look at stars and
that's what I did.
And sing songs.
Not the hunting part, but
Well, you go to Tim Hortons and the groceries.
Yeah. I'd walk around for 2 hours and then I just sit around and smoke weed and look at the sky.
But it was the scale, like the more you scale up a society, then you need agriculture, and then you need buildings, and then you need things. And
it's super cliche to say this now, but like, we're not supposed to be like this. I don't think, you know, we probably won't be like this for a whole lot longer. I don't think either, but like, we're supposed to be figuring things out and doing stuff, not making sandwiches and like, or like filling out spreadsheets and shit like that. Like, that's not what we're supposed to be doing. So just don't put yourself in a position where you have to do that shit.
Quit your job.
Quit your job.
Well, or plan even farther ahead than that.
Right. Yeah.
You know, don't get yourself into a position where you have to be, you know, like, I don't know, lots of people like welding, but if you don't like welding, don't put yourself in a position where you have to be a welder or a truck driver or whatever you don't want to do.
So I think I know what the plasmoid is. Okay, if you guys want to go back to that for 1 sec.
Yeah.
Okay, so this is, I'll just read it. This generator vaporizes water and produces plasmoids from collapsing cavitation bubbles. Stainless steel is used as a catalyst along with the plasmoids to produce hydrogen and oxygen by disassembling the water. So what I think it is when there's a bubble in water and you collapse it, it produces light, and nobody seems to have an explanation on why. And I think I just saw this on like front page of Reddit. Yeah, they collapse a bubble and it just they'll pop a light. And so there's some sort of energy produced in this process. And I think I just got dumber trying to explain that.
I understood none of that.
Is it plasma? Plasma's crazy. Isn't plasma like the 4th state of matter?
I think plasmoid is different than plasma, or is it? I don't know. I typed in what is plasmoid, and it's a Dungeons and Dragons thing.
Nerds.
Oh. Nerds.
Dungeons and Dragons.
There's no, no. Like, how many female listeners we have in this podcast right now?
0, no matter what.
Isn't it supposed to be like perpetual energy? That's like why.
I think it is. It's like a self-sustaining form of energy.
Okay.
Yeah,
that would be nice.
And I
Not
think
allowed.
I think what made
Won't
me
be allowed.
interested in it. Maybe I was watching a Joe Rogan. This explains everything. But like Subaru, was it? Subaru or I don't know. Some car company. They were putting in a patent for some new kind of engine. It was like a plasmoid engine. So like, I could be so wrong.
But go on.
The new Foresters
more to
coming
say.
out
Talk
with
with,
a
talk with
plasmoid engine.
authority.
I got nothing.
Should we play a game?
I knew I should have done a little research before this. Anyways,
Should we play a game?
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah? Okay. Well, here's the rules.
which one of us is an alien?
Folks, time to play this or that. The game where you choose between two radically different options. Either this or that. Are you ready?
Yes.
Am I doing it?
Yes.
Okay. Gravel riding or mountain biking?
Currently gravel, for sure.
Chamois butter or going dry?
Going dry.
Wipe front to back or back to front?
He's doing it. He's practicing. He's trying to remember.
Front to back, up.
Suspension fork or rigid on gravel bike?
Suspension fork. It should be gravel because it's not about comfort. It's about being uncomfortable for long periods of time, but suspension fork.
POD or VOD?
Pod?
Go-karts or gravel riding?
Go-karts.
Cry every time you poop or poop every time you cry?
Are they tears of happiness?
Whatever tears you want.
Tears of happiness. Yeah.
Hard to believe we went from plasmoid to that. But anyways, go ahead.
Seem related. Being too hot or too cold. And caveat, you can't say, oh, too cold, because then I can put on a layer. You just are having the experience.
Oh, I'm not good with either of those things.
Now you had to take your sweater off.
I know. I'd probably prefer too hot over too cold. I've had bad experiences on both.
I agree with that. Review 100 pairs of grips or review 100 pairs of pedals?
I would do 100 pairs of grips because it would be one shootout article. Grip shootout.
Dick-sized nipples or nipple-sized dick?
Wait, what?
You haven't heard this one before?
No.
Dick-sized nipples or nipple-sized dick?
He's measuring with his fingers.
Okay.
How long is your dick?
I've seen the dick pic.
Nipple-sized dicks.
Let's just say it's not a microbe.
Puppies or kittens?
Puppies. I love them all, though.
Lewis Hamilton or Michael Schumacher?
I'm never going to pick a favorite there. They're both close to my heart.
It's not the
Schumacher.
game.
It's not the game.
Schumacher.
Oh, he did.
Apple fritter or Boston cream?
Apple fritter.
Good choice.
Why is that on here? What's the backstory?
He likes donuts.
Okay. All right. Just
Boston cream's too
Grim
messy.
donut. Is that why? Okay.
Forward stall parking or reverse stall parking?
I'm not a very good parker. Probably reverse.
Is this an inside joke? Is there something here? Oh, it's just a random question.
Interbike or Eurobike?
Interbike because I don't have to fly there.
Downcountry or up Dura?
Downcountry. For life, dog.
iRacing or Zwift?
What the heck's iRacing?
I mean, I need Zwift. Zwift?
Oh, wow.
I guess.
Wow.
I need it. I Zwifted on my way, or before I came here.
On your way.
What kind of car are you driving now?
4 feet tall or 8 feet tall?
I think like 4 feet tall, like everybody's gonna love you no matter what, but 8 feet tall, like people aren't gonna like you. You'd just be a weirdo.
Yeah.
4 feet tall.
I think you're dying a lot faster at 8 feet.
Yeah, possibly, yeah.
Late nights or early mornings?
Early mornings.
And finally, Grim Donut V1 or Grim Donut V2?
Preferably neither, but probably V2 because it's not gonna kill me. And it pedals way better.
That is
That's
this or
it?
that.
Good job.
What's iRacing?
Oh, it's like online car simulator driving.
Oh, okay.
It's
Oh, that sounds fun.
car racing cosplay. I love it. I love it.
You have
Can
that
you-
at home?
yeah.
Like the whole thing?
Can you describe your investment into iRacing?
I mean, my sim rig isn't that crazy compared to a lot of people, but it's kind of nice.
How much does your sim rig cost?
Right now,
Yeah.
I mean, I have less than 10 grand into my sim rig, I would say,
Yeah.
which is like, I know people, we both know people who have more than that in their fucking coffee
That's
machines.
true. Well, yeah.
What? That's Jason.
Yeah.
It's not me. Yeah, that's true. But I think you do more than the average person in terms of racing video games. Right?
Yeah.
Like
Don't call
iRacing-
them video games, but yes.
I was
It's called a
trying to-
simulation.
I was trying to choose my words more carefully. And this is something you're into quite a bit,
Yeah, I love it.
but not as much as Zwift
Well, I mean, I need Zwift.
to stay in shape.
Yes, like Zwift is important.
I do.
iRacing is also important, but like it's not like bad things are going to happen if I don't have it.
Why don't you just go on an actual bike ride instead of Zwifting?
All sorts of reasons. Tons of reasons. Okay. Yeah, for sure.
Hit me.
Yeah. So, well, first off, like if it's rainy and I only have to ride for an hour, or I only want to ride for an hour, like sometimes, first off, I keep saying first, but you need to like fitness to get like the perspective of Zwift. If you don't really care about it, then Zwift is never going to make sense no matter what.
Well, there you go. You answered my question.
But you know, it's a rainy day. I've got to ride for an hour or an hour and a half. You know, it's going to take me fucking 20 minutes to get dressed. And I can come home and I'm covered in shit and like my stuff is gross. So there are days where I would far prefer to just get on the indoor thing. But it's also for workouts and like for building fitness quickly. I remember when I first started Zwift, nobody else was using Zwift up here anyway. It was still used a lot, but there was these spring races in Abbotsford that I would used to go to, cross-country races. And they were on a mountain called Ledgeview, which is like just straight up, like steep single track climbs, like doing intervals. And I used to go to these things in February, and I would weigh like 185 pounds, and I would just like get my shit pushed in. Like I didn't want a bike, like terrible, you know? And then I got Zwift. And through that winter, I started using Zwift, and you know, and then all of a sudden February came around and I showed up to these races, and they were just like local toonie things. You just pay a toonie. It's like a fun thing. And it's not about fun, but, I go to this race and I start riding. It's the same as ever. And I look behind me and literally no one is behind me. Like people that I couldn't keep in sight before, I couldn't see them. Like it was an open spot, like 200 feet, and they were just gone. And I was just riding my bike, and that's all because of Zwift. And it's also like, then you don't have to feel like a fat piece of shit in the winter. Mm-hmm. Like you have something to like work at, you know, work towards. Yeah. Even my trainer that the bike is on, it actually has like a vibrating thing on it. So like when I go over like cobbled roads in Zwift, it like shakes, or I go over bridges, it shakes and stuff. It's kind of neat.
No, it's like the D-Box movie theater seats.
So they make sim stuff as well. And I would kill to have one of their things for my rig, but it's like 12,000 Canadian.
D-Box.
Yeah, D-Box.
Oh.
Like the cheapest one is like 12 grand Canadian.
And what does it do? It shakes you side to side?
Yeah, so at each corner of your sim rig is like a hydraulic post, and they'll have like 1.5 to 3 inches of travel or whatever. Like different models have different amounts of travel. And they, you know, you hit a curb, you hit a rumble strip. You don't just feel the curb, you could feel the individual steps of that red and white curb. On your front tire, if only your front tire is hitting it, only the front right corner of your rig will go gunk, gunk, gunk. And if you're doing 200, it'll happen. It'll go gunk, gunk, gunk. If you hit it going 20, it's just gunk, gunk. And then if you hit it on your left or your right, like the idea is to bring in as much realism as possible, like immersion. So you like forget, you know, about everything else. So I have a inexpensive version of that on mine.
12 grand though. Jeez. Is that worth it for some gunk?
Yes, I would buy it in a heartbeat.
Well, D-Box, if you're listening. Now, I don't even spend the extra $2 for the D-Box seats in the theater.
But we all have our things, you know, like
everybody's got something.
Everybody's got something. So, I mean, besides biking, like what do you spend all your fucking money on? I don't know if you spend money on biking.
Ice cream.
What about like video gear?
Yeah, video gear. Yeah.
Expensive hobby stuff. He likes hockey. Mm-hmm. Hockey pads aren't cheap.
Yeah, you kind of buy them once, so it's been pretty efficient to this point.
Oh, that's not how my sim rig works. I buy new stuff like every other day.
Yeah.
But point is, we all have our expensive things.
100%.
Yeah, totally. The sim rig is such a great way to pass time.
If I had space, it would be hard for me not to buy one, I think.
They don't take up a lot of room.
I mean they take up room.
But I have a triple. Like you can get a single screen with like an eye tracker set up, and it's like as wide as your shoulders. Or it could fold up. I've been trying to get Brian to buy one forever.
That would be cool. Could we all do it together?
I would love.
And then we don't have to leave our homes to go go-karting.
Yes, I would love for everybody to have one.
In the world?
Well, the more people, the better.
Yeah. Included.
Yeah.
I think it was BC POV. He came in here. I think he's a racing sim fan. He was looking at our monitor, our ultra-wide 49-inch monitor, saying, you guys got to get a racing sim in here. Oh, yeah. Bring it in here. Well, D-Box, if you're listening. Wait, is that all we need, D-Box, or is that just like an addition?
That's not even. That's not a necessity. That's the $12,000 for like the part that moves. Most people don't have motion. Most people's rigs don't move. They're just static. Motion is like a luxury. Yeah.
Well, that was quite the pod, fellas. Are you metaphorically full? This is feeding off each other, by the way. We've been feeding for about, how long has it been? We don't have the timer up. I have no idea.
Hour 40.
What is time? What is space?
It's just a construct.
We don't even know.
What is real? Not this, that's for sure. Anything else to say out to the people out there, the aliens, the far away in this galaxy?
Keep looking up, everybody. Everybody should keep looking up. Keep an open mind, too. Like, crazy shit's going on. Like, what are you people doing? Look up, pay attention. Like, look into the stuff that's happening. The David Grush, like, that guy came out and said all this crazy shit. Like, can you imagine if our government, if half the stuff is true, if the government has a program to recover UFOs, which it certainly seems like they do, is the Global Access Program? Like, if that's real, this isn't, I know I said this in the PB podcast too, but like, it's not theirs. That's our shit. That's our like knowledge. It's not the government's knowledge keeping this shit from us, you know? It's not fair. World could be like, I know it's super cliche to say, but the world would be it could be a very different place. Maybe it would be worse off if we all knew. Maybe we're not supposed to know and not supposed to have that stuff, but we at least should be allowed to know what's happening, even if we're not allowed to fucking see the things or use the things, you know? That's my 2 cents.
You guys want to go 2 hours longer? Is
Yeah,
this
I'm
long
just
enough for
getting
you,
started.
Mike?
Yeah,
We'll do part two later.
Yeah, part 2.
Please,
Yeah.
please. Come by. That was a lot of fun.
I didn't tell my Bigfoot story.
Oh.
Next pod.
Oh,
Next
no.
pod.
You can't do
No,
this
next
to
pod.
us.
Next pod.
Oh, man. Okay, we're going to record it immediately after this. Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody. Please remember to subscribe, leave us a review on Apple, drop a comment on YouTube. What does it even matter, man? Who are we?
Who even cares?
Why do we even need a review in this?
I want to hear people's stories in the comments.
Yeah.
Yo, that's the other thing.
That's
Like,
some stories would be excellent.
Yeah.
people that are out there listening to this, they should share their stories.
For sure.
You know,
For
whether
sure.
it's in the comments or like,
You're not crazy. We
you're
wanna
not
know.
crazy.
Sleep paralysis. Call in speakpipe.com/feeding off each other. Speakpipe, PIPE/feeding off each other. Super easy. Hit a button, call in. You could put a fake name, whatever, do a voice. It's anonymous if you'd like. But please call in. We want to hear your crazy stories. Do you have sleep paralysis? Ever seen an alien? You ever taken a picture of your shit? We want to hear it all. And as always, come on, do the thing.
Thank you for listening to Feeding Off Each Other. Please subscribe for more great podcasts.